Thank you so much for joining us today. This is Grecia Cabrera. I'm your host with Cascade Media Group. Today I have the pleasure of introducing you to Braulio Rivas. He is the president of Young Latino Professionals, and we're so glad we're able to have him on our show because he does amazing work for the community, and I would love for you to know a little bit about what he does. Braulio came from St. Louis, and he's very passionate about helping the youth through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And now he's doing some amazing things with our young Latino professional community in Kansas City. Braulio, tell me a little bit about how you came into this position.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you first and foremost for having me. I feel blessed and honored to do this. I'm a little nervous, but that's who isn't. But back when I moved here in 2014, and I actually had a family member that lived out here, and he mentioned to me about the Young Latino Professionals. And at that time, I was in transition, reached out to the organization, took a little while to hear back from them, really didn't get connected immediately. So I know there are some people that relate with that with us currently, so I apologize, but don't give up. And so through that process, actually a friend of mine, I met mutual friends, Brenda Fernandez at the time was the president of the organization. And so I saw that they had board positions open, and it was 2019, and I was just like, I wanted to really get involved with the organization. I've heard about it, I've seen things that they've done. I think it'd be fantastic. Let me throw my hat in there and a ver qué pasa, see what happens. And so I went through the election process. I submitted a resume, and they interviewed me. Her and Justin Reyes came out to interview me, actually here at the dealership as well.
Nice.
And it was a wonderful conversation. And then, December of 2019, I got onto the board as their social strategy, and then 2020 happened. So then the whole thing went flat. We had one event, and then we just didn't have anything until the following year. And then through that process, there was, again, elections, there was transition. Justin, who at the time was the VP, then became the president. And then a great friend of mine, Maria Lacascio, also became the vice president. And so collectively through that, we started off 21 and saying, hey, how are we going to rebuild for this, right? 2020's happened, a lot of things in the world are in chaos, but we need to be an organization that can still weather through that and still survive. And so that's kind of how I got started with the organization. So I've been part of the board since 2019, and then and even prior to the board, I was involved with the Hispanic Chamber, still am today, do a lot of things with the Hispanic Chamber, tried to really hitch our wagon to theirs and partner with them and see just where we can be an asset. And I'm super grateful for them. And outside of the Chamber is also the Hispanic Collaborative, which we are a program of the Hispanic Collaborative, and we're both under the umbrella of the Hispanic Chamber. So in short, that's kind of how I came to be part of the organization.
Nice. I'm glad that you guys were working towards making it a foundational, enduring organization, because I have seen a lot of members, longtime members of the Young Latino Professionals, who have stepped out into the community and started amazing organizations, nonprofit organizations, a lot of things to serve the community. So I like how this culture is fostered, and a big part of it is through the YLP and the Hispanic Chamber. What can you tell me about that? What are you guys doing to create this culture and this environment?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me backtrack a year. This year we just turned 16 years as an organization. The organization was established in 2007 by some of our founding fathers in the community that people are very well that know, like Gabe Munoz, Edgar Palacios. I think Crispin Rea was actually part of that organization in the very beginning as well. There's quite a few people. My names escape me, so I apologize. But there was a lot of people who today are actively involved in some like the Matty Rhodes organizations, and in politics and business ownership and with the chamber. So all of these people kind of came together and said, there was a need that needed to happen with young Latinos, because the story that I was told was there was a gentleman that went into the chamber and would look around and go to all these networking events and realize there's not a place for us young professionals, right? So it then came to fruition, and then over the years they partnered with the chamber. They started a board, they started committees, they started really getting involved and active in the community. And so last year we had a 15-year anniversary. We affectionately called it our quinceañera. So it was awesome. I mean,
Great.
it was a couple of us members that we just decided, we're like, man, we want to do something to commemorate this, right? Like this is a huge thing. This is a huge accomplishment, that we can be together for over 15 years, and for us to just hold on to the torch and continue to pass it. It's an honor, right?
Yeah.
So in January of 22, we came together and we said, how are we going to do this? And what are we going to put together? And through the whole entire year, we decided, let's do it on Hispanic Heritage Month, October 15th. That it'll be the closeout to the month, and let's just have a great celebration to commemorate this, because they had a 10-year anniversary one, and then we had a 15-year anniversary one. I didn't even know that our 15-year anniversary actually was held at the same place as the 10-year at the Evergy Center downtown. So it was awesome. Open windows, I mean, just beautiful. The decorations that we had, I mean, I was extremely overwhelmed by the turnout and the support that we had. And our goal was to raise about $15,000 for the organization. And none of us had ever fundraised before. All of us were intimidated as heck to talk to big corporations about, like, hey, can you help us? Like, we're just this ragtag group of people, like, looking for help, but we knew that we were capable, right? Mm-hmm. And so, working out of our comfort zones, there was a lot of people that really stepped up and started reaching out to people. And then it was like almost a month and a half out, and we're like, man, we really didn't have any of the support that we were looking for. And there was a moment where we were just like, can we pull this off? And we just came together and we said, don't quit. Like, we're gonna make it happen. And through people, some of our alumni, they really stepped in and helped us out, like the Edgar Palacios, like the Angela Flores, like the Leo Prieto, right? All of these people came together and just said, we got you. And they came through and they started helping us, they started making recommendations. And when it was all said and done, I think total amount raised for that year, I think we collected over $26,000. And when expenses were all done and over, I think we netted about 16 grand for the organization. And we were just like, wow. And to see it all come together that night, and to give awards like legacy awards and young professional of the year awards, and just watch it all come, like, it was just such something out of a movie, right? It's like, this is what it looks like when you have a dream, when you have a goal, and you press in, right? And you continue to move forward, and just inch by inch, because goals are never easy, but we just moved inch by inch. And my parents came out from St. Louis. I know some other family members came out and supported as well. And we had the governor from Kansas City, Kansas come out. Like, it was just like, wow.
That's amazing.
So it was fantastic, as the organization. And that's really honestly what springboarded us to say, okay, now we have some funds, because we're volunteer, none of us are paid. So this is something that we do outside of our full-time job. And everybody that's on the board and the committee, we're just passionate about professional development. We're passionate about getting involved in the community. We're passionate about helping people just really tap into their potential. And so that's what Young Latino Professionals is all about. We're a place, a safe space where we can grow, we can be ourselves. You can be Latino, you don't have to be Latino, right? Mm-hmm. We encourage anybody and everybody to be part of the organization. If you believe in our cause and what we're fighting for and the directions that we're moving, like, come help us, right? Like, help us make this organization great. And that was the focus, right? It was, okay, now we have the money, now we have a little bit of things that we can do. Let's focus on what does the organization need and how we're gonna structure it to progress forward, because now the responsibility is passing it on to the next people that come on behind us, right? Mm-hmm.
So having mentioned that, what is your individual vision for YLP in the next few years?
Oh, good question, right? It's tough. The way that, one of the things that we as a group decided to do, we wanted to establish 4 pillars and really make them 4 pillars of what the organization is all about. And on these 4 pillars is where we stand. This came through a conversation that I had with Carlos Gomez at the Chamber of Commerce. I had a lunch with him and sat down, and I was just talking about some things that I was frustrated about, and really seeing the vision come to life. And And he talked about, you know, establishing pillars, establishing what is it that you guys represent, and that if somebody says YLP, okay, I know I can go to this organization and count on these things. First one was professional development, right? It's such a buzzword. It's so many people want to be developed. They want to find skills. They want to do resume skills. They want to know how they can become a better speaker. They want to know how they can get better job, opportunities, etc. So we have established that pillar, where then we go out in the community and we find community leaders who are willing to come pour into our group and say, here's my area of expertise in the professional development, here's what I can offer you, right? So we have programs for professional development. Then the other one is our networking. Networking is very simple, it's very easy, and it's also very intimidating, right? Because not a lot of people like to walk into a room and be like, okay, hi, my name is, what do you do, right? It's just kind of weird, it's unnatural, right? But for some people, they need that. It's that push. It's that getting out of the comfort zone to make them, to be able to take them to the next level. So we have relaxed environments where it's pretty easy. You know, you maybe have a happy hour, but our happy hours are different. We try to do it for a cause, right? We always try to find out, okay, if I'm gonna do a happy hour with someone, like, let's just not make it something where just everybody just gets together and might have some drinks, right? Let's have a purpose to it. And one of the perfect examples is recently we partnered with the Olathe Leadership Lowrider Bike Club, located here in Olathe, Kansas. And one of their what they do is they help at-risk youth students who may not have the opportunities to go to college, who may not have the opportunities, the financial opportunities to be able to find something where they could take their education to a higher level. So Eric Arazo and Gene, they're out there with the Olathe schools. Reached out to Eric, met him at a meeting, and as I heard his story, as I heard about the organization, as I heard about what they do, I was like, that lines up with what we want to do, and as far as YLP, and that brings forth the third pillar, is the community engagement. And the community engagement is, okay, how can YLP be out there and find organizations where we can be supportive, and rather try to help them financially is by fundraising, which we're doing with the Olathe Leadership Bike Club, or can we provide bodies, right? Because a lot of times money's great, but sometimes it's actually people in their presence that they need help with, right? So then we can tap into our pool of people and try to bring them on board and inspire them, right? Like the biggest message that I've been telling people all year long is find something that inspires you, and try to find the inspiration, because it's through the inspiration that you'll then begin to act, and it's through the actions that you then now have results, right? And so that's the mindset and the core and the heart behind those two, the social networking and the community engagement, because those two can go hand in hand. And then the fourth one is their wellness, right? That's our fourth pillar, where we want to be able to establish an area where we can find maybe community leaders who are passionate about mental health, as that's a hot thing in here today. Maybe they can find something about their physical health, right? Maybe we get together and we just exercise our arts and crafts, where we've done a sip and paint on the Berkeley riverfront, right? Something relaxed, people just enjoy themselves, they're enjoying scenery, they're enjoying the outdoors. I've had personal trainers come through to the organization, or maybe we just do a Saturday $10 HIIT class, come support this personal trainer in his business, and then also get some exercise in, right? So those are the four areas of focus that we want, that we've been establishing. We've had a couple events with it this year, one of them being with the Big Brothers Big Sisters organization, and another one obviously being with the Olathe Leadership Lowrider Bike Club. And then we've also had cafecitos. Like, this is probably one of my favorite ones. Maria Lacasio was the brainchild behind this one. She was fantastic. But we decided, hey, like, instead of maybe doing when it comes to the social networking, right, then it's like there's social, and then we're also like professional. Like, we get together on a Saturday morning, maybe at a Latino coffee spot like Cafe Corazon or Anchor Island or Oyama, down there. And we get together and we're just like, hey, let's go have un cafecito, sit down and get to know each other. What do you do? How can we help? Maybe bring in a speaker. Usually it's the business owner to talk about, like, hey, like, how did this business come to be? Tell us your story. Let us know, right? Because it's through that story then someone gets inspired, going back to that, right? And to say, hey, like, we can be someone, we can do something, we can make an impact in the community. here in Kansas City is because the Latino community is strong.
I can attest to that. YLP has helped me a lot, networking, meeting people, connecting, but first of all, the attitude is to serve, and that's why it works. I've been in environments where the members, that Laura, Palacios, Edgar, Leo, Danny, they as soon as they meet you, they want to introduce you to people that they think might be good for you to know and might be good mentors, or just good networking. It's been great, and your goals are so wholesome. I'm really glad we're able to talk about this today. What would you say to the youth in the city who have never been to a YLP event?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, come out, right? come check us out. Come hang out. Reach out. Nothing is for everybody, but if the good thing is that we tried to create events throughout the year, and this year we didn't have a ton of events, right? And we said from the beginning, like, that's okay. Like, if YLP didn't have a ton of events, that it's okay, because the goal was to build a team, and we're still building that team. We're still looking for people that want to come on board, that have the same vision, have the same passion, that want to serve, right? But those opportunities, and come on board. Like, if there's something there that you feel could be a benefit, like, we want to hear those voices. We want to hear the people in the city who've never come in. Come get familiar, right? We're not weirdos, so I promise. We're Latinos. We're welcoming, right?
They're great.
Thank you. I mean, we try to do our best to represent ourselves well and professionally, and and come see. Maybe it's not a board position, right? Maybe it's a committee, maybe where you kind of just kind of getting your feet wet. Maybe you're coming out and you're just kind of getting used to the environment a little bit until you maybe find a couple friends that you feel comfortable with. And what's cool about that is when you meet those friends, like, I have lifelong friends that I know that I'll have through this organization. I have lifelong individual professionals that I know that I will be in communication with because of this organization. Mm-hmm. And I never thought to be that. I never was like, yeah, like, I'm gonna be on a board. I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing sometimes. But the beauty is that you don't have to. You have a team. You have individual people who have their own individual mindset. And when you come together and you start expressing those things, then it's through that the power of the organization becomes unified. And then you have results.
That's very well said. Thank you so much, Braulio. It's such a pleasure to have you, and we hope to have you more often in the future. This is Grecia Cabrera with Cascade Media Group. Thank you so much.
The program is brought to you by the Kansas City Business Association.